everyone. Welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and we are live. This is a live yoga class. So I'm just checking to see who is checking in on the feed. If you can, if you're not watching this on your TV and it's too much trouble to do the thing where you have to chat into something, your tablet or your phone, then just send me a little quick message and say your name and where you are in the world. We get people watching this broadcast from all across the world. As a matter of fact, Jillian I want to make sure I say this right because it's got a lot of shares and shires in it. Gloucestershire in England. Is it Gloucestershire in England? I did maybe just made a big, huge assumption that it's England and not in Massachusetts. So let me know for sure where you are in the world. If you're in a place where the name could be a city or a town that is also in another country. And Suzanne, hi Suzanne, good morning. She's in Toronto. Kathleen is joining us and she is in sunny, hopefully sunny, California. So she got up really early to be part of this group today. And Dottie is here from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Lee is here from Connecticut. Janet Trolley is here. She is from the UK for sure. I'm very happy you're here, Janet. It's only 60 degrees, and I'm assuming that's Celsius. So yeah, it's been kind of up and down here where I am in the north too, because one day we'll have a temperature in around 18 degrees Celsius, which is around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And the next day it will be like 6 degrees Celsius, which is pretty much like 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, Julian says she is in England. So we've got two ladies from the UK joining us this morning. That's kind of cool. And Joyce is here from Florida. Erla from Alabama. Susan Edwards, always good to hear you are with us from Houston, Texas. How's the weather down in Houston these days? Hope it's warmer. Okay, Joyce is just apologizing that the email address coming up is her handle is not the normal one. That's because she's using her husband's. That's okay. If he doesn't care, I don't care. So I'm just going to jump right in at this point, and I'm going to share with you some very, very exciting news within my family. My daughter is a writer. She writes books. And as all writers hope for the day when they get their book published. And by published, I mean by a publisher, not self-published. So she was very, very lucky to be chosen to have her children's book called The Door. And I'll just hold it up here. I don't know if you, yeah, I guess we can see it okay. The Door by Shauna Taylor. Now this is available on Amazon. And it's also available directly from the publisher. And the story is about a little girl who is tucked away into bed while her mother after her mother shuts the door, she starts imagining some stuff going on with that door that is kind of scary, but then in the end, everything works out okay. So she overcomes her fear. So this book in the States runs at, and this is actually, you can order it directly from the publisher, the publisher is Austin Macaulay Publishers. They're all around the world. So this book is actually available in the UK as well. You can order it in the UK. I forget the name of the site that they have. But if you Google The Door by Shauna, Shauna Taylor, Taylor, you'll see it come up, and it'll come up in a lot of different sites that sell books. So in the States, though, it is through Amazon. And you can get this on Kindle. You can get this on Kobo if you like an ebook, or you can order a soft, this is a soft copy, or a hard copy Apparently the hard copies are a little bit harder to get right now. I've ordered a hard copy for my own collection, but they're not very expensive as books go. Hard copies usually are just over $20, and the soft one is, in the States, it's $8.95. And it's about $5 if you buy the ebook. So support a young lady trying to make her way in the world by being a book writer. And we also have, everybody's checked in. So thank you very much for just letting me do that little bit of blatant, promotion for my daughter's book. I'm very excited for her. It's an exciting time for somebody who gets their dreams. And that's what we're really about. And especially in yoga. In yoga, we're all about all of you getting your dreams. So I'm just going to put that aside for a minute. Just put that over here. So this Friday, we'll be having a yin yoga class. So if you're joining me on Friday, it will be yin yoga. So make sure you have all of your stuff that you need. For today, though, you'll probably just need a blanket and a block if you haven't got that already, or your usual cushion that you might be using. You're going to want to have that, but always have a blanket because blankets are great for Savasana. Cover us up and make us feel a little more comfortable as you cool down. Blocks for sure we're going to need in this practice. This is a gentle Hatha yoga practice. So everything we're going to be doing in this practice is mostly seated, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do some standing stuff as well if we have enough time. Oh, thank you, Dottie, for saying that. So I know all of you ladies out there, you probably all have a child in your life, grandchild or a niece or nephew that would love to read this book. So check it out. All right. Now, one thing that Pat, on our community page, a lot of the people who are members on the community page for Northern Zen Yoga, they make comments and they put out things that they have discovered that help them in their practice. And this is really beneficial to all of us because it helps people who maybe hadn't thought of that solution to a problem to think about how they can approach things that they have issues with. So Pat told me that when we are in that posture, like we did, I believe, in a yin yoga class on Friday, or Thursday, I guess it was, that where you have to put the block underneath your hips, you sit your hips and bottom up onto the block and you have your back on the floor so that your hips are elevated, that her body has a hard time with the firmness of the block. And what she suggested was, or asked, would putting a blanket on it help? And I think that would definitely help. But if it didn't help, if you found that you were having a similar problem and you put a blanket on your block and it still was hard on your back, then just go straight to the rolled up blanket. So the rolled up blanket can serve in the place of some things we may use a block for, such as putting it under your hips in that modified shoulder stand pose. And if you roll it up, you can see this is not even a very big blanket. This is pretty small as blankets go. So you can see I've got quite a bit of height here, and it's got firmness to it. It's not going to squish right down to the floor, but it's a lot softer than a block. The same thing when you're sitting. When you're sitting on your mat, if you roll your blanket up and make a little cushion out of it and sit on it, elevating your hips, your knees and your hips will open up a little more easily. So always some kind of solution that you can do to modify the yoga practice. Yoga is not about torturing yourself. So make sure you're really, really finding solutions to any issue that you're having in order to make your practice more doable or at least a little more comfortable. So we're going to begin in our seated position as we always do. And just before we begin, I'm just going to have a quick sip of my tea. Remember, you can always have tea handy or a glass of water if you're feeling thirsty during your yoga practice. Hi, Millie. Glad you joined us. Millie's in Winnipeg, or in Winterpeg, as we're fond of calling it. Hopefully it's still not winter up there. So come into your easy pose, whatever that looks like. And for the purposes of this particular class, I'm going to give you less verbal cues of modifying your practice. I want you to start to rely on your own self, to be willing to change up what we're doing to help fit your body. Sometimes all of the extra things I'm shouting out there and telling you what to do can be very distracting for people who don't have these difficulties, and so it becomes a little bit of a deterrent, or it becomes a little bit of interruption of their flowing through the class. So for today, let's try it out. Use your own good judgment to modify whatever I'm doing to the point where you can feel a stretch, but you're not in pain. Because we never go into pain. You must promise me we never, ever experience pain in yoga. Achy, stretchy, yes, but no pain. So keep that in mind. You can modify the position of your legs. I'm in my easy pose right now. This may not look like yours. Fix yourself in a position where you are in a similar kind of idea, but that works for you. And as we go through the practice, do the same thing any way that works for you. So begin by sitting. Just sitting on your mat, on your pillow, or on your blanket you've got folded up. Don't sit on a block. Blocks are too hard. And think about raising up your rib cage as if you have an imaginary string tied to the top hair here, and it's just gently pulling you up so that you're lengthening up through the spine, lengthening up through the neck, and your chin should be level to the floor. It shouldn't be drooping down, and it shouldn't be looking up. And allow your shoulders to relax. Just let them relax down. You can let your eyes become soft, or you can close your eyes if that feels better. And don't do anything right away. Just be here. Just experience yourself being in this position. Notice where your clothing makes contact with your skin, where your bottom makes contact with your cushion, blanket, or floor. Feel where your hands are making contact with your lap. See if you can feel the air moving past your skin as you sit here. Allow yourself to come to a deeper state of awareness. And just for a moment, see how far you can hear. Listen for the sounds around you. Perhaps a ticking clock, a bird outside, shouts from the street, cars going by. Begin to deepen your breath now as you sit here and you just become more and more aware of everything around you. Notice how your muscles are beginning to feel as you continue to work on sitting in that upright position. Feel the air passing through your nose as you breathe in. And breathing out through the nose, feel how it feels as it exits. Is it warmer or cooler or the same? Begin to deepen your breaths, breathing into the belly, expanding it out on the inhale, pushing your belly out. And on the exhale, pushing the belly back in, back up and through the nose. Take a few more deep breaths like that, breathing into the belly Breathing out through the nose. Your next deep breath, take it in, push your belly out, hold it for a heartbeat, and then as you exhale, constrict your throat just a little bit and make a sound as it exits out through your nose. Sound a little bit like the ocean, or maybe you might be thinking it sounds like Darth Vader in Star Wars. In any case, just breathe in deeply and breathe out, constricting your throat as you exhale, slowing the exhale of air out. Pushing your belly in as you push the air out. Let's inhale the arms up, reaching up as high as you can. Reach up, reach up, reach up. You can touch fingertips together over your head. You can do that. And then we're going to turn the palms away from us so that as they come down, they're facing toward the floor, dropping down very slowly. So we're going to do this with a lot of intention. So as you inhale up, slow yourself down. Your palms are facing up. Reach through your fingertips. Reach through the muscles in your arms. Stretch from the shoulder. Reach, reach, reach. Stretching upward, bringing your hands toward each other if you can. And then as you exhale, now that was all one inhale. As you exhale, reverse the palms so that they're facing toward the floor as they come down, slowing the movement down. And we're still exhaling. Inhale, turn your palms up, reach out through the fingers. Try not to make this super fast. Try to slow it down like I have. And rotating the palms downward now, stretching the arms out. Really try to reach for each side of the room. Feel it right from your shoulders all the way down. This time when we drop down, we're going to hover just above the mat and we're going to stretch our fingers and our arms, reaching for each side of the mat. Breathe here. Drop your chin toward your chest. Feeling the stretch coming up from the back, through to the back of your head, pushing your chin down toward your chest. Rotate your palms now forward and push the hands back behind you more. Breathe. Don't forget to keep breathing those deep breaths. Use your Ujjayi breath, that constricted breathing to help you. Gently release your hands down to the mat. If you need to, shake your shoulders out. A little wiggle. We're going to inhale the arms up one more time. And this time on our exhale, we're going to side bend over to the right side. So you're going to drop your right hand down and you're going to take your left arm and you're going to reach over your head, or you're going to drop your hand to your shoulder, lifting your elbow up toward the ceiling. Push into the floor, but don't lift your cheeks up. Keep pressing also your cheeks of your bum into the mat. Nice big stretch. Inhale as you come up, both hands toward the ceiling, and then we're going to exhale the left hand down, and we're going to stretch the right arm up and over. Push both of your bum cheeks into the mat, into your blanket. Keep breathing. Take those deep breaths. Inhale, bringing both hands back up again. This time on the exhale, we're going to twist. So we're coming into the twist. We're going to gently twist to the right, bringing our right hand behind us. Our left hand drops to our lap. and focus on pushing the shoulder back as opposed to turning at the hips. So your hips will gently rotate. We want to keep generally facing either right forward or a little bit of an angle. That's about it. And then we're going to work on making the shoulders turn. And if you can, just gently turn your head toward the right shoulder, getting a stretch up here. Come back slowly to center. Inhale your arms upward. And as you exhale, we're going to twist to the left this time. And think about your rib cage. Make sure you're not collapsing down. Keep that back up and straight. Pushing this time the left shoulder toward the back. Your right hand is dropped down on your lap. And just focus on pressing that left shoulder back further and further. And then gently turn your chin toward that direction. Deep, deep breaths. Slowly come back to center. We're going to inhale the right hand up and we're just going to drop it across our head. So hopefully everybody can at least do this much, to just drop your arm next to your right ear and your hand will reach over toward your left ear. And we're going to let that arm get heavy and just begin to pull the head over to that side. But we're not actually pulling our head, we're just letting the weight of our arm pull our head. And we're going to take the left hand and we're going to reach away from us, trying to reach to the other side of the room. Spread your fingers out in the reaching hand. Find a little tension there. Stretch right to your fingertips with that arm. And be careful you're not trying to pull back your head because you're feeling the stretch in your neck. Just relax your head. Let it drop over as far as it can. And then we'll gently release. Bring both arms down. We're going to inhale the left hand up now. Dropping the arm across the head, dropping the left hand onto our right ear if we can reach it. And just let the weight of our arm and our elbow drop and stretch out the neck on this side. And then we're going to stretch out the right hand. This time, the right arm, stretching it out, reaching for the other side of the room. Spread out your fingers and take that stretch right down to the fingertips. You're going to feel when we do this particular exercise, the stretch from your shoulder up to your ear. And you're going to feel the muscles in your arms stretching. Gently drop your hand down, release your head. This time we're going to take our fingers, we're going to lace our fingers together, bringing our hands behind our head and cradling the back of our head, just above our spine where it meets the back of our head. And we're going to bring our elbows forward so that they're pointing forward. And then with the weight of our elbows, our hands linked together back on our head, we're just going to let the weight of our arms pull our chin toward our chest. So you're not actually pulling anything. You're just relaxing the weight and letting your chin drop into your chest. And you should be feeling the stretch coming right from your shoulder blades up to the back of your head. Just let your arms get heavy so that weight is pulling down. Take another breath here. And gently release. Let your head drop up again. We're going to take our fingertips again and we're going to come into Namaste. And we're going to place them just underneath our chin. And we're gently going to push our chin up toward the ceiling, going as far as we can today, till you feel the front of your neck begin to stretch. Take a few deep breaths here, maintaining that stretch feeling If it starts to go away, push up a little higher. And gently release. We're going to start to turn our head toward our right shoulder. So keeping your chin level, try not to drop it or look up. Just gently start to rotate your chin toward the right shoulder. Taking it over as far as you can. Making sure you're not crunching up your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed down. Let them go. You're going to feel the twist happening in your neck, of course. Don't push it into any kind of pain. Just find that stretch. And then slowly come back to center. Take a breath here. And then gently begin to turn your chin toward the left shoulder this time. Once again, make sure your shoulders are relaxed and down. You want to drop your hands to the floor to help keep that happening. And slowly come back to center again. You're going to drop your chin down toward your chest, and we're going to roll the head over toward the right shoulder, and then we're going to drop it down, rolling toward the left. So we're just dropping the chin forward, bringing our ear toward our right shoulder, dropping it forward, bringing our left ear toward our left shoulder. And I know a lot of you probably have stiff neck issues. This is a beautiful exercise to do daily to help bring some more flexibility back into your neck. Make sure you're not pushing anything, you're not forcing anything. Just let things go the way that they are able to go today. And we're going to come back up to center. Lift your chin up. We're going to drop our head back as far as feels comfortable for the front of our throat. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to roll the head from one side to the other side. You might hear some creaking and cracking in there. That's okay. And this is nothing severe. You're just gently moving your head side to side. One more time from one side to the other. Bringing back to center, and then gently lifting up your head upright again. So now we're going to take the complete circle. We're going to go around the complete circle. I want you to do this slowly and mindfully. I don't want you to do anything that is pushing yourself too far. So right about now, though, we're going to switch our feet. So whatever foot you had in the front, you're going to bring it back and you're going to switch it up. I'm going to give the other hip some trouble. So we're going to begin with our head upright. We're going to drop our head over our right ear toward our right shoulder. And then we're going to drop our chin toward our chest. As we come up, we're going to begin to inhale. Inhale up all the way to your head is back. And we're going to exhale as we roll it down toward the right. So inhaling as we roll up left and exhaling as we roll down right. So let's do that again. Inhale, coming all the way back as far as we can, and begin to exhale as you begin to roll your head toward center again. One more time this way. Inhale and exhale as you come back down. Stop with your chin drop towards your chest. And you're going to begin to inhale, but this time we're going to the right. So inhaling to the right and up. And exhaling to the left and down. Inhaling right and up. Going nice and slow. And exhaling as we come down to the left. Once more, all the way around, inhaling to the right, and exhale to the left. Let your chin rest downward for a moment, and then very slowly and gently begin to lift your chin upright. And if you had your eyes closed during that whole process, just sit for a moment. Let your eyes refocus on a point. It's called a drishti point, something above slightly our viewpoint and far away. Just stare at that for a moment until everything begins to feel back to normal. Sometimes, even myself, sometimes when I do this, I get a little lightheaded because we're moving the ears around. And sometimes if you have issues with vertigo, you can actually feel a little dizzy. So just give yourself a few moments to come back and breathe. So we're going to take that rotation down to our mid area now. So we're going to begin to just rotate over toward the right and come forward, coming over to the left, and then rocking backward slightly as we come over to the right again. So now as we go to the right, we're going to inhale. We're going to exhale as we go down, and we're going to inhale as we come up. So let's take an inhale from a neutral position. Exhaling as we start to roll to the right and down. Inhaling as we start to come up to the left and back. Exhale as we roll down. Inhale as we roll up. We're going to do this a few more times, and if you can start to make your circles bigger, even better. Pushing down a little deeper, exhaling down, and inhaling up. Exhale down, inhale up. Come back to center here. We're going to go the opposite way now. So we're going to take an inhale, exhale to the left, coming down. Inhale as we come up on the right. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Really push that air out as you come down. Inhale. Come back to center. And just sit for a moment again. Just give yourself a moment to come back. Find your drishti point. Take a few more breaths, letting everything settle back. We're going to give our legs a break. We're going to stretch them out, shake them out. And we're just going to start to rotate at the ankle. So I hope you can see my feet. Yeah, you can see my feet here. I can sit back a little further. We're just rotating at the ankle. Just go whatever way feels good. Get the circulation moving in our legs again after sitting in easy pose for so long. And we'll stop and we'll go the opposite direction. So whatever you're doing, stop and go the opposite way. And then bring your feet back to neutral position. We're going to flex our toes. So we're going to flex the toes up, and then we're going to curl them down. Flex up and curl down. Our feet are so important. They're important to our yoga practice, yes, but they're also so important to our daily activities. Having sore feet makes life miserable. So we need to take care of our feet. We need to exercise our feet and stretch them out, just like we do the rest of our body. You notice I'm doing my hands at the same time. I don't know whether that's just because, but hey, if you want to do that like I'm doing as well, then you're going to get the finger action in there. So scrunch up, stretch out, scrunch up, stretch out. Now we're going to stop the scrunching and the stretching, and we're going to point our toe on our right foot We're going to pull the toe toward us on the left foot. So this one is coming back and this one is going forward. So sometimes when you push the foot forward, especially if your feet haven't had a good stretch in a while, you're going to get a muscle cramp. If that happens, just stop for a second, give your feet a bit of a massage, loosen them up, and then go back and try again. That's not unusual to happen. It even happens to me sometimes. So now we're going to switch. We're going to point the left toe and we're going to flex the right foot. So the other thing you'll notice is that as you flex, you're going to bend your knee slightly. It's going to become a little softer knee. And as you point your toe, you're going to be stretching out the front of your leg. So not only as you do this, are you giving your feet an exercise, let's flip it again, but you're also giving exercise. And the exercise really is more of that of expansion and contraction, which is really important to keep the circulation in your legs from pooling down around your ankles and causing things like I have from early days of not taking care of my legs, varicose veins. So even if you have varicose veins, let's switch it again. This is a beautiful exercise to do to help prevent them from getting worse and to help keep your legs in a little healthier condition. So we're going to go a little quicker now. We're just going to switch it up a little bit, get those muscles working back and forth, and feel the contraction and the stretch that's happening in your thigh muscles and your calf muscles. Become aware of that. Part of the practice of yoga is becoming aware of what's going on in your body, how things are working when you do this. And relax. Shake out your legs. We're going to take our right leg and we're going to bring it up and we're going to try to grab the heel if possible. And we're going to hug the knee up toward our chest. So this might be one of those ones that you're going to have to look at modifying for your own purposes. If you can do at least getting the arm underneath the thigh to hang on to it and start to bring the knee up to the chest, that's part of the exercise. If you can do that, that's great. Otherwise, we're going to be working on rotating the hip. So what is really important is that you get this arm lock here. So I've got my arm right across between my thigh and my calf muscle, and I've grabbed onto my shin bone. The reason for this is I want you to make sure it's your hip that's rotating, not your knee joint. So you're going to begin, once you've got this lock in place, you've grabbed your foot, you've grabbed your leg, you're going to bring the knee toward your armpit of your right arm. So you're lifting the knee up and you're bringing it toward your armpit. And then you're going to start to push your calf and pull on your foot until you can get your foot closer toward your chest or your leg toward your chest. Now, you should not be feeling anything happening here. And if there is anything happening, it's very minor and minimal. It's just probably a little bit of torquing going on as you're pulling against this part of your leg. What you don't want is you don't want to feel anything happening of a serious nature or any great movement in your knee, because what we're trying to do is get the hip to move. So this is really critical, and a lot of people have been taught this incorrectly and they've damaged their knees. So work on bringing the knee toward the armpit. That's the first goal. So even if you're just here pulling your knee in toward your armpit and you're way out here, that's the first goal. And we're going to bring this up as close as we can get to our armpit for those that are able to do what I'm doing right now. And then we work on rotating. And notice I'm going to start pushing my knee farther out that way in order to free my hip up. So that's the goal. Let's drop that leg down, give it a break, shake it out if you want to. And we're going to work on the other one now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start to bring our leg, our knee toward our armpit on the left side. Reach down, grab what you can, locking the elbow and the hand around the leg to isolate the knee to make sure the knee is not going to start to move. and pull that knee up toward that armpit and out, and then try to bring the leg toward the chest. Lots going on there. That's a difficult one. Okay, let's relax that leg out. So getting the hips to be starting to find their full range of motion is very, very important. So making sure your hips are moving and not your knees is really the tough part. The knees will move if your hips won't. And that's where people injure their knees, damage them. A lot of athletes make that mistake. They're too locked up in the hips and they're doing movements which put too much pressure onto the knee joint and they pop their knee joint out. Especially hockey players and football players are really, really bad at damaging those parts of their body. Interesting enough, now they're doing yoga to help that. I just need to have a sip of my drink. Okay, we're going to come into a hip stretch now. So we're going to, you can use a block if you like to help you to balance here, but we're going to bring our left leg in as close as we can, and we're going to slide our right leg out to the side. Now, if you're sitting sideways on your mat like I am, you're going to be heading toward the corner. That's your goal. Your goal is to get to the corner of your mat or beyond. I'm at the corner. That's good enough for me right now. The other leg is going to be coming in toward the body. So here again is an opportunity to have your hip rotation. If you're able to bring your heel in closer, you're going to relax out toward the floor. Now you may be hovering above the floor. You can always shove your block there if you need to, if it's really distracting. Mostly we're going to be focusing in this direction. So we want to push our leg out and we're going to flatten our foot so that our toes are upright toward the ceiling or starting to bend toward our face. We're going to turn our torso so that our hip and our belly are closer together, and we're going to drop down with a nice flat back. So no arching your back to try to get there. Instead, just think about pushing your belly down toward your leg and keeping your head upright. Push your heel away. You're going to feel the stretch right in the back of the leg, and you're going to feel it also in your hip and the back. So we're looking for that sweet spot where we can tolerate the stretch, but we're not really in pain. If you're able to reach your toes or the foot, just grab that. If not, just grab your shin or your ankle to help give you a little bit of leverage to bring your belly down toward the floor. Now, for some of you, you might be able to get your leg out there, but getting over here might be difficult. So you can go anywhere in here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Slowly come back up. You can push your body up by using your hands, coming upright. Try not to use your back muscles in overhanging positions. Use your arms. Turn toward the folded knee. We're going to push that heel out again. We're really going to put a lot of pressure against pushing outward the heel and pulling the toes back. We're going to face this one, and we're going to start to try to push our belly down toward our folded leg. So you notice that you're going to feel a much more intense stretch now in the back of that leg, especially as you increase the pressure on your heel and pull back on your toes. So this is a hamstring stretch. It's a wonderful stretch if you cycle, if you're a biker that likes to go a lot, doing lots of cycling, or if you like to do a lot of hiking and walking. It helps, and even if you're a jogger, it helps to keep these tendons and the hamstrings in the back of the leg from starting to crunch up. Especially cycling, you'll see a lot of cyclers. They're in great shape, but they walk around with bent knees all the time. That's because their knees, tendons in their knees have tightened up from cycling constantly. So let's switch sides. Stretching out the leg and pulling in now the right leg toward the body. And being up on the cushion really helps you to be able to get a little bit more of a rotation in your hip joint. So I'm turning myself now toward this extended leg, and I'm pushing my heel back and I'm pulling my toes toward me as I lower my belly toward my leg. Just breathing here, feeling the movement, feeling the stretch. Where are you feeling it? Feel a little bit in your back, a lot maybe down the back of the leg. In the moment, when you're doing yoga, the moment that sensation dissipates, you push down a little further. Another breath here. Come up slowly, using your hands to push you upright. Turning yourself toward your folded knee. Push with all of the ability you can, all your pressure you can. Push your heel out, pull your toes back, and lower your belly down toward your thigh. Keep pressing, keep the pressure on the extended leg. Try not to lift your cheeks up. Doing this is not doing anything. And it takes all the pressure off the leg. So if the pressure goes away, try to make sure you're not lifting your tush up. Let's come back up. Shake out that leg. Shake your legs out. We're going to come into the full dragonfly pose. So this is going to be pretty intense, and you probably won't get very far, and that's okay. Because it's not really about kissing the ground. It's about feeling the stretch. So now this time we're going to open up as wide as we can. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of a cue. You can feel your sit bones making pressure points that are touching down into your blanket or your mat or whatever you're sitting on. You can feel those bones that are just one on each side, pressing down. Let's rock on them. Just rock back and rock forward. So this is the action for the rotation of the hip. Push your heels out. You can turn your toes this way or that way, depending on your hip alignment. You might find one way more comfortable than the other. And as you rotate forward, you're going to flip your toes, whichever direction you want to go. And you're going to think about pushing your belly toward the floor. So this is a hard one. In vital practices, a lot, I don't get down very far. This is really pushing me to be right here. And I've still got several inches before I would be able to find the floor. Other people find this very, very easy to do. A lot depends on which way your hips are aligned inside of the hip socket. So we want to feel the stretch. You're going to feel the stretch right up into the inside of the thigh. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings. You're going to feel it in your back as your hamstrings are pulling against your back muscles. And breathe here. Very important. Use your hands to push you up. Don't use your back. Come back upright. Help your legs come together. Shake them out. Okay, we're going to come onto our knees. So if you need your knee pad to do some kneeling for a little bit, go grab it. Or use your blanket. I'm just going to get my blanket out of the way. Coming into cat-cow. Make sure you have at least a fist width between your knees. Drop your belly down, look up, inhale. Exhale. Tuck your tummy in. Push up your back, push against your hands. Exhale all the air out. Pull that belly button up into your ribs. Inhale as you drop your belly and look up. Exhale as you curl your back into cat. Do a couple more at your own speed, breathing in and breathing out slowly. Coming back to neutral back, we're going to come into hero pose. So for hero pose, you can use your block if you need to, if you can't sit on your heels. So remember, block has lots of sides. If you need to sit back, coming into the hero pose, if you can sit on your heels, you're going to make sure you're sitting nice and straight, shoulders relaxed down, that your arms get heavy and hands fall to the floor, and then you can bring them up onto your lap, or you can sit in namaste. Toes are touching, especially if you're not using a block. You should have your toes touching each other, and your bottom is kind of settling down in between your heels. If you find that your block is just a little bit too much, you can always put your rolled up blanket here. Sitting in hero pose for just a few more breaths, stretching out the front of the leg. From hero pose, we're going to come up onto our knees. We're going to push our hips forward. We're going to take our hands. We're going to put our hands, if we can, fingers up under our rib cage. If you can't, heels of your hands up under your rib cage. And we're going to push our hips forward, pulling our elbows toward each other, coming into a modified Campbell pose. So as we pull our elbows toward each other, we're opening up the chest. Relax your head back. Push against your hips, pushing your hips forward. Breathe. Exhale, relax everything, shake your wrists out. We're going to bring our right leg forward, coming into low lunge. So low lunge, make sure one leg is on one side of your imaginary line and the other leg is on the other side. We're going to look down from an upright position, see if we can see our toes so that we know our knee is in line. We're going to drop our hands down to the mat. You can use a block here. If you have two blocks, you can have one on each side. And we're going to slide the other knee back just a little till we find a stretch here. So this is a balanced position. So you're going to come upright as much as you can here. Find your namaste. And try to breathe and balance. You notice your body's doing a lot of twitching, a lot of torquing, trying to get things from falling over. That's beautiful. That's perfect. And we're going to drop our chest down toward our leg. Reach for the floor. We're going to shift our weight back so our hips are coming back and we're straightening out the front leg. Make sure I get stuff out of the way here. You're going to press your big toe down into the floor. Try to straighten out this leg as much as you can, keeping that big toe pressing down. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, press your belly down into your leg. Big hip and hamstring stretch here. Also stretching the front of your foot. Really focus on pressing that big toe into the mat. Come back up again. Bring that leg back. We're going to switch legs. Coming upright in this position. If you need your block to help you get up here, fine. Just make sure if you're upright and you look down, you can see your toes. Coming into Namaste. Find that drishti point. That's your beneficial thing to do to help you balance. Finding a point not too far away, but up just above your viewpoint. Not too high, not too low. Oops, we got to move this leg back. I'm not feeling a stretch. Forgot about that. Slide that leg back just a little bit more than kneeling so that when you come up, you feel a nice big stretch in your hip. And we're going to breathe here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Watch your body. See how it's trying to maintain its balance. Drop back down again. We're going to just move our hips back. Stretching out the front leg and pressing the big toe into the mat. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, drop our chest down. Keep pressing that big toe down. Come right back up again, very slowly. Bring that leg back. And come back onto your bottom for a second and shake your legs out. So we're going to come up into a standing pose. We're not going to be doing the warrior poses today, but we are going to come into a standing pose. So we're going to come into downward facing dog. So back on your knees, stretch your arms out in front. Hands are slightly turned toward each other. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up. Drop your head toward the floor. Lift up your tailbone into the sky. And if you want, you can just bend your knees here, walking your dogs. You have to drop down to your knees for a second. Take a breath, come back up. Knees could be soft, they don't have to be straight, and your heels do not have to touch the floor. But we're going to look toward our hands, begin to walk our feet toward our hands. Coming up into the forward fold. So I lost my block someplace, but you can use a block here if you need it. Block will take place of the floor. But you can also bend your knees as much as you need to find the floor. Relax here. Just relax. Let everything stretch out. Let the back of your legs stretch out. You can do alternate stretching and bending. Think about your tailbone, lifting your tailbone up to the sky. Letting your belly come down on your legs. Breathe deeply. Grab your block if you have it handy. We're going to place the block in front of our right foot. We're going to bend our right knee. We're going to press our fingertips down into the block so it's on the high side. You can press your nails, your fingers, your palm down depending on your arm length. We're going to straighten up the left leg. We're going to take our arm, we're going to put our left arm behind our back, and we're going to inhale the shoulder up toward the ceiling. Push into the block. Make sure both of your feet are making contact with the mat. Come back down. Take a breath. Switch sides. Now we're in front of the left foot. I'm going to bend the left knee, straighten out the right leg. Arm behind the back, and we're going to inhale the shoulder up toward the ceiling. Drop it back down again, come back into the forward fold. We're going to come into the standing position very carefully. We're going to come to a flat back, push your tailbone out. You can push your hands into your thighs if you like, or if you like, you can be very dramatic about it. Bring your arms up into either a dragon, can be a dragon or a butterfly. So come on up, push into your feet, start to straighten your legs. Inhale, exhale. Come into mountain pose. Mountain pose, nice and strong. Begin to tighten up. Press your feet down. Tighten your legs up. Tighten the muscles in your calves, your thighs, your bum. Pull your shoulders back. Find your drishti point. Breathe. Deep, deep breaths. Palms, rotate them forward as you press your shoulder blades toward each other. Tighten up your torso, your abdominals. Lift your chin so it's level to the mat. And smile. Don't forget about smiling. This is a beautiful pose. Standing at the top of a mountain. Breathing that air. Close your eyes and just visualize that. Visualize standing on a mountaintop, looking out, feeling all that beautiful oxygen around you. Palms together. Going back far enough you can see my hands when they go up. Palms together, we're going to lace our fingers together, but keep the pointer fingers up. Inhale, push up. As high as you can. Try to straighten out the arms if you're able to. If you're not, just come as high as you can. We're going to inhale, stretch up through the rib cage. Press your feet into the floor. Making sure your arms are by your ears. You're going to start to tip over to the right and you're going to look under your left arm toward the ceiling. Just drop down as far as your body will allow you to today. Inhale, stretch up through the arms and lift yourself up. Don't make your back do the work. This time we're going to look under the right arm and we're going to drop over to the left side. Inhale, stretch up, lift yourself up. Take another deep inhale, stretch up, and we're going to push our hips forward and tip back just a little, looking up toward the ceiling through our arms now. Pull up through the arms, coming upright. Drop the arms out to the side, coming out, pressing palms out. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, drop one hand down, the other hand comes up. Inhale gently, coming up, press your palms out. Exhale, coming to the other side. Drop one hand down, one hand up. Bending slightly to the left. Inhale as you come up, pressing palms out. We're going to come into something called the goddess pose. So we've got our hands here. We're going to bend our elbows. Bend our elbows, palms forward. We're going to take a step out just a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to point our toes out sideways. You can see my toes here. We're going to push our knees out over our toes. So we're dropping our bum down. And I don't think I'm wide enough here. One of the things you must be aware of is that if you glance over, you can see your toes. It's more important to be able to see your toes than to squat down further. So we're coming into the goddess pose. So watching this doesn't cave in. Only go as far as you can and keep the posture looking good. Don't sacrifice the posture to go deeper. Breathe. Inhale, straighten your legs up. Stretch your arms out. Drop them down. Bring them onto your hips. We're going to come into the forward fold. So we're going to come flat back. Push your bum out. Reach for the floor. Bend your right knee. Let's lunge over to the side. Walk your hands over. Or if you need a block, you've got your block here. Come back to center. Bend your left knee. Stretch out your right leg. Come over to this side. Walking back to center. Palms on the floor. You're going to very carefully drop your right knee down, turning with that. Bring your other leg back, come back into the hero position to start, and then come onto your bottom. We're going to come down. We're going to finish up now in Savasana. But as we come down, bring your knees up. Make sure you rock on your back, softening your back up. You can do circles if you like, or side to side. If you do circles, go one way for a while, and then the other way. Rocking back and forth. Bring your knees up to your chest, hug them in. Drop your arms out in a T. Drop your knees over to the right and look to the left. Take a few deep breaths here. Make sure both your shoulders are making contact with the mat. Inhale your knees up to your chest. Exhale them over to the left and look to the right. Knees back up. Hug them in one more time. Roll on your back. And then stretch out for Shavasana. Grab your blanket. Put your pillow behind your head if you like. But don't have your chin pressing into your chest. It should just be for comfort. The back of your head. Put your blanket over you to keep you warm. And relax. Take lots of lovely deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Shavasana is the most important part of our practice. Shavasana is a pose just like any of the other yoga poses. It's a difficult one because we need to breathe, we need to relax, we need to let our body go. So begin to let go. With each breath, feel yourself go into a deeper state of relaxation. Feel your body begin to melt down into the mat. With each breath, feel yourself become softer. Let your jaw relax. Let your eyes relax. Let your breath begin to relax. Imagine yourself in a place where you have always felt at peace. Every time. And go to that place and spend a little time. When time is up, I'll let you know. But until then, just be. Just go there and be. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking your body back up. Give yourself a nice body stretch. Really stretch it out. And then bring your knees up and give yourself a hug. And thank your body. Thank it for all of it, all that it does, all that it puts up with, all the abuse it takes. Thank it. And then roll over to one side. It doesn't matter whichever side feels most natural. And take a few more breaths here. This is your time. This moment is for you. Nobody else. No demands. When you're ready, and please don't rush, make your way up to your easy pose. And we'll close our class. Say hi to Cindy. Hi, Cindy. She is in Nashville. So let's close our class today with an Om. Doesn't have to be good. And if nobody else is home with you, then who cares? Just make it loud. Palms together in Namaste. We'll take a breath in and we'll take a breath out, and then we'll inhale for the Om. So let's inhale, exhale. Inhale for Om. Om. Rub your palms together, generating your prana, your chi, your energy. All that beautiful energy we created inside of us, we're going to send it deep inside to the places we stretched. Close your eyes. Think of those places around your hips and your legs. Place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you breathe in, open them. Sending it right down into those hips. And on your exhale, palms to ceiling, sending it back out to the universe. Bring it back a little bit to heart center for you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you like this stretch. It's a little bit different. I don't think we did one exactly like this before. If you did like it, please hit the like button. Like, before you leave. And let everybody else know that you liked it. So if you have questions, this is a good time. If you want to fire off a quick question to me while I'm sitting here, beautiful time. Otherwise, a lot of you I'm going to talk to tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock on our Zoom call. So if you had sent me an email, you should have received the link. So the link will take you right to the Zoom call. There is a passcode there as well. You have to put the passcode in. Anybody else that is suddenly at this moment finding that they would like to be on that call, there's still some space. So if you want to and you send me an email today, I will send you the link. So I'll talk to everybody live in person, and I'll get to see your smiling faces if you're on the call with me tomorrow, and it's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not seeing any questions. You got no questions for me today? Nothing? I'm just going to put my daughter's book up here. See if you can see it. I can't see your title. There we go. You want to take a screenshot of that? I don't know if you can possibly do that on YouTube. There you go. I posted on Facebook anyway, which reminds me, everybody should have got their newsletter who has signed up for the newsletter. Hopefully you did. And if you didn't, check your junk mail just in case it went there. This week I was talking about, what the heck did I talk about? Oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Isn't that awful? Oh my gosh, I hate being over 60. It's like, happens way too much. So whatever I was talking about was probably a good thing. I've done so many of them that I keep forgetting which ones went out this week. It'll come to me. I have to download it in my brain. It takes a little while. So The Door by Shauna Taylor. Make sure you check it out. No, I'm not getting any questions, but y'all are still sitting there. So sure you don't have any questions? I bet you do. It's always so wonderful to do these classes. There is one thing I think I'm going to throw out to you, is that most of the people who are regularly on the channel do send me the money for the monthly fee, or as they go payment for the class. And I've been beginning to think that now that YouTube has an option on the channel of having memberships, that I will look at starting it as a membership, that you will get actually something that people that are generally watching YouTube won't get. So what happens is this class will now be uploaded to the video feed automatically by YouTube. And everybody else is getting the benefit of this class without paying the fee generally. Nobody that's seeing it after the fact pays the fee. So that is kind of not fair to you guys that are doing that and helping to keep the channel going and supporting that, because really the advertisements we get, it's pennies. We get penny every time you look at an advertisement. And you have to have one of those channels that gets millions of views before those pennies become actually any kind of income. As a matter of fact, it takes months before I even get anything sent to me. So that's why I was looking at donations as an option to help keep the channel going. So I don't know how you feel about that, about paying, whatever you're paying would be a membership, and you'd have a special place that you go, and you go for live classes. As far as I know, I got to check out to make sure live classes can happen. And then I could put extra content in there just for you because you're part of the membership. So I'm thinking about that. I haven't decided 100%. But that's where I think we're going to be heading, because we have you guys are the same people that come every week for the live class, and this way I might even be able to do more live classes, like more of a regular studio thing set up. So I have to consider that. The other thing is I've uploaded about 4 or 5 videos just the other day, yesterday, that were old videos from April, before I understood technology and how to fix certain problems that I was having with technology. And the audio on those videos was terrible. It was like almost non-existent. So I went in and I re-edited them, and I increased the volume on the audio feed. It was because I was doing it at that time on my tablet. My tablet didn't have a very good microphone. So now you can rewatch them, and maybe you never even saw them before, but at least now you can hear them. So check those out. Okay, I've got some questions. Okay, Cindy says her right hip seems to be tighter than her left. That's normal. That's normal, and it won't matter if you do yoga for 20 years. One side will always be a little more tighter than the other side, no matter how flexible you become. It's just the way you're designed, and it probably has more to do with your bone structure than it has to do with other things. At this point in your yoga practice, it's probably tight tendons. I mean, you could, in theory, do a little more stretching for a longer period of time on that side that's tighter. But even if you did, they will never both work exactly and beautifully the same. They won't. I have one side that can do, one hip that can do stuff, and the other side has a problem with it, and vice versa. So it's just part of the journey. But if you want to try to work a little harder on one side than the other with the stretch, just take it a little longer. Make it last that stretch period a little bit longer. Susan says she enjoyed the class today. She likes the idea of having a special membership club. And also apologizes that tomorrow she had a conflict, so she couldn't be part of the tea. And I understand a lot of you did. A lot of people let me know that they had work or something happening. So probably the next time I try this, I'll probably try it on a weekend to see if that helps. The problem is with the summer, weekends are usually, designated to having fun outside or whatever, because, if you do work or you do have obligations during the week, the weekend is your time you can spend with your family. So we'll see, we'll play around with it. But I'm thinking too, Millie, Susan, that we should be going toward private membership for the live classes, if we can do it that way, and for other special things that we do. Okay, she said this practice seemed out of focus periodically. Did that happen to anybody else? I'm using a very high-tech live cam. It's not my computer. But if nobody else had this issue, it might be your equipment. Or it could be, the other thing too I have no control of is this is a live feed through first a streaming service, and then of course YouTube. So if YouTube or the streaming service have little glitches happening, that I can't control. So Cindy says that the focus was perfect as far as she could tell on her end. So it might be your system, Millie. Joyce says she had 2 knee replacements, and it usually feel postures in your knees a lot. But now her knees are loosening up. Yes, just because you had a knee replacement didn't change what was going on that caused the knees to degenerate in the first place. So you have to keep that in mind. When you have a knee replacement, all they do is reattach the tendons and stuff like that to the replacement knee. If you had a complete replacement, they've actually taken your knee joint out and put a pin into your bone, both upper and lower bone, and then put some screws in there to make sure that it doesn't fall out accidentally. And then they reattach the tendons and things and all the fascia back around it, wrap the fascia around it. And so if you had tight tendons and if you had very rigid fascia, well, because, and probably, definitely because you hadn't been using your knees the way you probably would have if they didn't hurt, all that still has to be stretched in order to get your knee replacement knee to work properly. So loosening them up, doing the stretches is very vital when you've had a knee replacement, because otherwise you're going to be in the same thing, the same problems that you had, but you're going to feel them in different places. My husband had 2 knee replacements. Now he's very overweight and he is not very active. And he's always complaining about pain in his upper and lower bones. Well, that's because he can't feel pain in his replacement knee. There's no sensation there. So he's feeling where the tendons and the muscles and the ligaments are pulling because they're tight and short, and all that fascia that's attaching itself, upper and lower, he's getting the sensation of discomfort there instead of here because the knee is gone. So working on stretching out your knees it's very, very important when you've had knee replacements, because otherwise you're going to end up with achy legs that are painful, and you won't be able to walk very well, and it'll affect your life, your activity life. Okay, Cindy says she can't watch the live classes, but if you're a member, Cindy, you can watch the class, but you'll just be watching it through the member page as opposed to even if you watch it later, and any other videos that I put there. I'm researching that. I want to make sure I completely understand the pros and the cons of using the membership section of YouTube. I believe you would have to go to the channel and you'd have to click onto the tab on the channel that says members, and then you put in your password and you can access it. And only those that have paid the fee would be able to get the password. And That's how I understand it now. So it won't be happening this month, but give me a few weeks or so to get some more information on that. So just because you can't watch the live classes live doesn't mean you can't benefit from being a member, as far as I can see. Anyway, I'm going to have to go. What time is it? Oh, yeah, I gotta go. I'm going to go now, and I want to thank you again for joining me this morning. And if you have any more questions, you can always put them on Facebook. If you're part of the community channel, you can always ask questions on that. And also, too, the community people can always give their 2 cents worth if they have a great solution to a problem that you want to share with us. If you want to be part of the community channel, I suggest first that you make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like to me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and then send the request in, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. I think you have to be at least liked us on Facebook to be accepted as a community channel member. And the community channel is for chatting and talking about stuff, as opposed to posting that I do on Facebook, the Northern Zen Yoga Facebook page, which is basically just letting you know about what's going on, classes and so on. Okay, goodbye everyone. Love you all. And thank you so much. I'm seeing that there's some liking happening there. Make sure you press like before you exit off. And if you haven't subscribed, press subscribe and be part of the gang. Bye for now. Namaste. See you on Friday.